The ultimate all-in-one electric homebrewing system is here. The new Grainfather G40 can produce up to 11 gallons of beer and features all the latest advancements in homebrewing technology, including wireless control so you can monitor your brew day from the Grainfather app. With an innovative new grain basket design that improves workflow, reaching mash efficiencies of 75% or more is easy. The 3300-watt heating element brings your wort to a boil quickly without any scorching, and the large hot plate filter guarantees that no unwanted grain matter or hop trub reaches your fermenter. Every G40 comes standard with a high-powered built-in pump that can handle temperatures over 200 degrees Fahrenheit and a full 3-year warranty that guarantees you'll be able to keep on brewing no matter what. The Grainfather G40 is available now at your favorite homebrew retailer or online at grainfather.com. Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Will carbonation levels increase from your serving PSI, RO versus distilled water, and creative ways to deal with acidity after you keg? This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 269. Well, hello there, and welcome to the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. If you have a question you would like us to discuss on a future episode, go to homebrewhappyhour.com and click that submit a question link at the top of the page, or now you can call or text them in by using 325-305-6107. I'm your host, Joshua Stubing, and I'm joined by the Director of Operations at cmbecker.com over there, Mr. James Carlson, as well as below me, the Chief Keg Washer of kegconnection.com. He goes by Todd Burns. Gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Let me start fading that out. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay, you can hear me. How's it going? It's on this frigid February day. We woke up. Schools have been canceled. Women and children are cooped up in their blankets and fires. And Todd wakes me up and says, "We're driving to the office." And I got you safely here. So you did. What was that maneuver though? You were trying to show me on the roads.
The Rockford, the complete 180 turnaround by using your emergency brake.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's hard to do on gravel, but it's really easy to do on ice.
Yeah, it was. Even though we didn't go full Rockford, you said, because we didn't go all the way.
Well, I was trying to scare you if we did a 360, 360, 360, 360. So, yeah.
I was terrified already. I knew we were going to the office. We have stuff to do. Trub Club recipes need to be, they're not getting picked up today, but they're getting packed today. And whenever FedEx feels comfortable coming back around, they're getting picked up. So I knew we had work to do, but still, you were like, oh, there'll be a lot of people on the roads. People got to work. I think we saw 2 cars, and one of them was TEDSTOT, which is a government working vehicle to go work on the roads. So, and then James also decides, I'm going to go to the office too. I got stuff to do. And you hit ice as well, didn't you?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was black ice. I got up this morning and emailed Todd, or text Todd, said, I'll be in. I don't think we got anything because I never heard any sleet or ice hitting the house. It looked normal. And Gracie and I went outside, and she went out and did her thing and come running up, jumped on the porch and slid into the door because the porch was covered in a thin coating of ice.
Your poor dog.
Kind of funny.
Yeah. But then not funny when you hit the road and all of a sudden your tires are, because you're having your truck is 4-wheel drive as well, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I can't imagine. We didn't take my Subaru. I offered for Todd to drive it, but we took the luxurious blue truck.
So
nice
faithful.
vehicle.
I need to get a picture to put here on the screen for people. I don't have it.
But your
week.
Forester's 4-wheel drive too.
It is all wheel. Yeah, it is
All-wheel drive. Yeah, the blue truck is a thing of beauty. It has almost half its paint. So
Yeah. So, people probably looked at us going down the road thinking it got to its condition because we rolled off the road on the ice and we were whimpering into town. Anyway, enough about the weather. We are weaklings here. I am a weakling in Texas where I think it's 24 degrees right now and I'm dying. And my side of the office, Todd doesn't believe in heat because I guess it costs money. So I'm just bundled up over here. I'm kidding. Todd offered for me to turn the heat on. Small talk before we get into the questions. Videos that are coming out soon because I'm up here. We are filming the filter video that will be publishing very soon, and we're doing it on the Altbier, I believe, that is ready to keg. So that'll be good. We're going to do
I speak for all of our listeners when I say I'll believe it when I see it. So
yeah. Oh, well, it will get done. One video that is already published, not on our page, but go to CM Becker. You can go to CM Becker's YouTube page. I believe it's youtube.com/CM Becker International. Or if you just type it in, we did a collaboration video on a customer showcase with Teddy's Brewhouse there in Brownwood, where we were CM Becker showcasing the beautiful V10s and V3N faucets that they're using there. And I don't want to toot my own horn. I think the video turned out pretty good. So
it's very nice. Very nice. Yeah, you did. It looks professional. It looks like a professional film crew was there.
That's right. And it was a one-man show. Y'all were there,
one-man show.
But you were really drinking. I don't remember you helping on the production. But
I definitely didn't help with the production because it seems like I think you spent about 40 man hours putting it together, didn't you?
It's true. It took if you go by how long it took me to get it done. Yes, it cost you 40 man hours. So we could go. I was thinking about if you go to facebook.com/homebrew happy hour, we did cross promote it. It's just not on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/homebrew happy hour. But that video, the filtering video, and then Todd and I don't want to do it, but I have to film it. The soda sparkling water carbonation kit video on, using like basically a cheaper alternative to SodaStream, using your own 2-liter bottle in one of these nice kits that we sell. The reason I don't like doing it is because I don't like those 2-liter bottles getting pressure added to them. I know it's safe and I know it's legit. It's just Todd likes to really shake it in my face and go, "It's really safe, Josh. You hear that?" It's yeah, that's gonna be fun. I think we're doing that tonight, right, Todd? So that'll be ready.
Yeah.
So we'll get I'm gonna make the filter video the priority. We'll get that published as soon as possible, and then we'll get the carbonation video done at some point next week published. Also, it is your last chance to get February's recipe and join our Trub Club, which is the delicious Dusseldorf Altbier. I don't have my assets here to show you on screen, so I can't go. There it is. But you've seen it enough this month. That's what we're going to be kegging today and filming the filter video on. I'm super pumped. James has poured me a few times from the conical, and it is delicious. It turned out so.
I can't. I'm gonna take one of my kegs out of the kegerator that I don't like and put that one in, James. So
yeah,
I'm pretty excited about having that one. Hey, are you packing the recipes now, right?
Correct. I am.
Were you able to find the hops?
You want to go over that? Do you really want to fight? Do you want to fight on the show? Is that what we're doing today? Are we fighting? Yeah, I'll give the bad story. I got here. I didn't find the hops. I was freaking out. Did we not order the hops? Oh my God, we have to delay this. Where are the hops? And James was like, they're in the walk-in. I go in the walk-in and I didn't notice the 2 massive bags of hops in the walk-in. And so I come down here and go, I don't find him. And he's like, call James. Like, no, he's on the ice. When he gets here, I'll ask him. And so Todd walks up there, or kind of waddles up there. And he gets into the cold room and he goes, like these 2 big bags here that say German Select Noble hops, or could those be them?
Well, the other part, James, he's not mentioning is that he was like freaking out, and he was and he kept looking at me and going, "You're acting like it's my fault that I don't have everything I need to back the recipes." And I kept saying, "Yes, it's your fault."
I did say that. That is true. I did. And that was his reply. He goes, "Yes, it is your fault." And I go, "No, you can't say that."
because I'm still a millennial. So my boss is. But anyway, go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. Join a recipe receiving group tier of our Trub Club and brew this with us. Or I say with us, we've already brewed it. We're about to keg it, but it is. I'm super excited. One of my favorite recipes ever. So you can do that. And at any tier of our Trub Club, you're entered in to win for February's giveaway is a dual body tap right regulator. So we are super pumped about the giveaway. We're super pumped about the recipe kit. And then next week, at the beginning of March, we'll be announcing all of our stuff for March. So at any level, we greatly appreciate you guys. We thank y'all for being a part of our community. And even if you're a former member or if you're not a officially paying member, we still appreciate y'all. And thank you so much for joining us every week. So I think that's everything I've got right now. Before we get into the questions,
It's time for listener feedback.
my favorite, it's time for listener feedback. Our buddy Dan left us a voicemail.
Good morning, guys. I have some feedback for you. This is Dan from New Jersey. Just listened to your last episode. Love the podcast. It was great. Josh, in regards to Todd's always bleeding, I find whenever I clean kegs, I cut my hands a lot and don't even realize it. I know that's not something you do a lot, but that's probably where it's coming from. And Todd, we get it. Your system is super efficient. I think you need to use Brewer's Friend to make some adjustments there so that you're not over alcohol. Just some pointers and tidbits for you guys. Take care. Love the show. Bye.
Dan, thank you so much. Yeah, Todd, we get it.
So the question is my system efficient? And yes, it is very efficient. I thought it was 77.5 and I made adjustments to that, but I'm pretty confident it's over 80% now. It's very efficient.
It does get tiring every week. We're like, oh, guys, I don't know what to do. My system's so efficient. Oh, the only detriment, it's not even a detriment. It's just everything on tap at the barn is 7% or more. It feels like everything. Oh, try this amber. Damn, that's smooth. How much? Yeah, 7.6. What? Everything. I think my coffee style is one of the least or the lowest ABVs you have on tap compared to your. What did the IPA finish at? Which, by the way, is what I'm
8.3.
8.3 for that smash IPA, James.
Yeah.
Wow.
It ended up, but
it's
good.
It
is
too.
So good. It is so good. I'm taking a keg of that home. And
I'm a session beer guy. That would just. Oof.
Well, you took home.
That's a lot.
The lemon drop.
Hey, Todd, he let me.
Yeah,
I
totally.
took it.
Yeah. I traded it out.
You've got the amber, right?
I don't.
No. James has an
James,
amber, right?
Yeah.
You gave me one 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But no, he let me take the lemon drop Pilsner that you brought up here.
I see.
But we still have one in the kegerator. In the brewing.
So we're keeping a lemon drop here, so I can still drink it here. Instead of me taking home the other one, I told James because James he was not going to take the IPA home. I knew that.
So you're going to take an IPA.
I'm going to take that because that IPA.
That's what I thought you said. That IPA is good.
Oh my gosh, it is such a good beer. That Galaxy Smash, which was January's recipe kit. I need more feedback from Trub Club members because I don't want to give Todd all the credit that he's the reason it turned out so good. I think it's just a good recipe, but man, it turned out. I did not realize how much I like Galaxy hops, Todd.
I know they really are good. It is a great tasting beer. You know, I was thinking you were supposed to bring me a keg and we were going to trade though.
I kind of forgot your Kolsch. It's been a crazy week, man. It was a crazy weekend. And I've actually been here all week, which before we get on to the questions, let me remind everyone, yesterday was Todd's birthday. Do I have sound effects for that? Nope. No. Oh, listen to that. Happy birthday, Todd. You are.
Thank you.
Okay.
What is that?
That was the soundboard has 3. It has if when I tell a joke, it has laughter for me. Oh, Josh. And then it has cheering. Yeah, that's our new soundboard.
Huh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyways, Todd turned 55. We didn't get as smashed as I thought we would last night. You kind of abandoned me and wanted to hang out with your family. Whatever that was about.
Yeah, my wife, yeah.
Yeah, whatever that's about. But anyway, If y'all, I made a post on our Instagram, and I appreciate everyone who replied telling Todd a happy birthday. I forgot to show him yesterday all of y'all's well wishes, but I saw it, so that's all that really matters. So, with that being said, we've got 3 questions for y'all this week, and only 3 because we've got a lot to do today. And Todd, this is for your birthday, man. I tried to bring as many voicemails as I can. So, our first question is a voicemail from our buddy Mark from Alaska.
Oh, wow.
Hey guys, this is Mark. I have a quick question regarding forced carbonating. So I understand the different charts out there with lighting up the desired, or the PSI, with the temp of your fridge. So once you get to that desired and peak carbonation level in the keg, in theory, wouldn't it continue to carbonate over time? If you continue to have it at serving pressure? Usually when I have a 5-gallon keg, I don't run through it that quick. Usually I could have it on tap for, up to like several months. But wouldn't it continue to carbonate over time? And, if so, how or what could I do to eliminate that issue? Thanks for the help. I really appreciate it. Cheers from Alaska.
Alaska. We need to go visit his homebrew club.
Yeah. I want to go bad
Todd,
fishing.
You're the carbonation man. My understanding is that at serving PSI, it's not going to get overcarbonated because what's the highest a serving PSI would be? 15?
Well, no, I mean, all it has to do with is once you've reached that level of carbonation, the beer will not hold any more carbonation unless you turn up the PSI. So the answer is no, you can't overcarbonate. So if you carbonate to the level where it's basically 12 PSI, not to oversimplify too much, but you have the volume that would basically you would serve at 12 PSI to maintain it. It's not going to get any more carbonation because it's dictated by the pressure, by the PSI, so it won't overcarbonate.
And also temperature. So
yeah.
So
assuming your beer's at 38 degrees. Now that's a good point, James. If you had the same PSI and you dropped the temperature down to say 34, or 33 degrees, then it could continue to take some more carbonation in, but I mean that would be abnormal.
Yeah, I think that Todd's right. Definitely at a certain pressure, at a certain temperature, it will only dissolve so much CO2 in the keg. But if you're concerned about it, you can always disconnect the keg.
Well, that's what I was going to ask too. If it's talking about to remedy it, you just connect it when you're serving it. If you were concerned about it,
yeah, you don't have to remedy. Yeah.
Well, no, there's nothing to remedy. Right. I'm saying though, but if you were worried, if you were concerned, there's no harm, assuming you have no leaks in your keg. There's no harm in disconnecting the gas side from it when you're not dispensing from it.
But actually went and pulled up. I've got it bookmarked on my computer. The carbonation chart, temperature versus pressure, and I like to keep my beer at 38 degrees. So 12 psi at 38 degrees, that's only going to allow 2.48 or 2.5 volumes of CO2. If you go down temperature to, let's say, 33, it will go up to 2.78. So most kegerators with a switch will keep stable at a certain temperature. So you shouldn't worry about it. If you're going to be gone a while, then maybe put it down to 10 PSI. That way, if it does go to 32, then you're a little over 2.5 volumes. I like to carbonate at 2.5 volumes. That's pretty much the default setting for me.
Yeah, Todd, I don't have the video pulled up, haven't watched it in a while, but it's always popular week to week. Your forced carbonation video, how to. I forget. Do you have a recommended temperature? I know, obviously, you always say
38 degrees.
38 is your recommended temperature for when you start to force carb.
36, 38. I mean, no, just beer in general. I mean, I don't think you'd want to. It doesn't matter that much. You probably are not going to force carbonate at a lower temperature than what you're going to serve, because then you'd have to bring up the temperature of the beer. So yeah, just get it to. I like to get it to 38 and force carb it.
Right, and in some circumstances, like where one of our conicals here won't get that low, do you still, before forced carbing, like to keg it out of there, put it in the fridge to get it lower than you were able to? Do you know what I'm asking? Like,
I mean, mine is usually around 40, which is really close to 38. So I don't worry about it. I just force carbonate it I just put it I just feed it 12 PSI the whole time it's in there. It's still not fully carbonated by the time I'm done usually. So I just throw it in the kegerator, put the thing on it. If it doesn't have enough carbonation, I'll force carb it for 30 seconds and check it, or, and then get it where I want it and leave it.
You've given me kind of PTSD on carbonation, just because I've seen you give brutal feedback to people, James. And
I was bad about it.
No, one time. It was one time, and now he holds it against you. But so sometimes, Todd, I will bring a keg to you not carbonated, and that travel time when it drops temperature, is that a detriment to you when you're going to force carb it, allowing it to drop, or you can just bring it right back down? I mean, pardon me, allowing the temperature to rise, but you'll just bring it back down before you're going to force carb?
That's fine.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm just trying to cover bases, because I know maybe I'll stop doing that. I'll just stop being a chicken. Me and my dad force carb our beer all the time. We're like, this is perfect. As recently as the breakfast stout I brought to you, it carbonated, and you're like, you didn't carbonate this, did you? No, I don't think you did. I was like, yeah, no, you're right. No, I didn't. But we had, and you added a little bit more to it. I think one of your friends, I think Bauman, was there, and after you carbonated, both of you were like, oh yeah, that was what did it. That was the change. So sometimes, like I said, you've scared me about carbonation levels. But in this case with Mark,
don't be scared of carbonation.
I'm not always. I'm just scared to your standards. But in this case for Martz, there's nothing to worry about, right? Like he could.
Nope.
There'd be nothing to be concerned about. Keep constant temperature, and if you're that worried, just take it off the gas connection. But you don't have to. Right?
Yep.
Okay, right. Perfect. Mark, thank you so much for submitting that question. This is a great time to remind y'all, if and when you do submit a question, we take on a future episode, and it's a voicemail, we give you a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com, or if it's a text or email, we give you a $15 gift card to kegconnection.com, which brings us to our second question, which was a text to our hotline at 325-305-6107. Our buddy Ryan wrote, RO water versus distilled water. I'm about to plunge into all grain brewing and will be using grocery store RO or distilled water based on what you say. No pressure. And he put a little heart emoji for us to show love, no pressure. Y'all's personal experience, I've only seen y'all use RO water, right?
Yep.
Is there a reason besides already having the system? Like, James, before you had an RO system at your fingertips, did you still go buy RO? Did you use distilled, or did you just use your tap water?
I would buy Ozarka spring water at the grocery store. I never used distilled water because it's just, there's nothing else in there. And I always used Ozarka. It seemed to work real great. It had good pH for mashing, and the only thing about it, it was the biggest I could get that in is 2.5 gallon jugs, and it was kind of pricey. But I guess you could use distilled water, but you'd want to check the pH, and you may want to add some salts to it to get it in the right range. You know, you may have to definitely do water profile with distilled water.
That's what I was going to ask, because distilled has nothing. Like RO, is it 99 point some odd that the minerals that it removes from?
Yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, they're both really neutral. It's just distilled water is much harder to make than RO water, and it's probably I've never actually seen RO water for sale like on the shelf of a grocery store. I think it's always distilled, but RO water is definitely available on those machines at the grocery store, and it's a lot cheaper, So distilled water is expensive because it takes so much energy to make it. Because distilled water is just like it sounds, distilled. You actually boil the water all the way down and catch the vapors, and then turn it back into water again. And that takes an enormous amount of energy to create. So
and time.
Yeah, time. Whereas with RO water, you're using filtration, which is really probably a lot more efficient, or a lot less expensive to create.
Now I've
Yeah,
done
that, or they normally say spring water, like Ozarka is a spring water.
right.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. Just stay away. Just look on the back. Sometimes you'll get just filtered water, like municipal filtered water.
Yeah. I think that's what our grocery store, their version of the Ozarka jugs. I think it just says this is from San Antonio Municipal, right? Like it's, which in that case, that's not necessarily bad, but it means it's just filtered. Do you recommend, unless they know for a fact it's RO, still getting a water profile of what they're using, or checking the pH rather, at least, because they can, I don't think this is likely, but you buy your 20 gallons or whatever for your brew day, and you don't realize, the pH is actually higher than for the style I'm doing. Oh crap! I mean, that's probably not that
chances are you're probably just fine, even with filtered water. We just were lucky that Todd was able to get us a really nice RO system, and we have it attached to the table that the Brautag's on.
Yeah,
we just turn a valve. It's a no brainer. It's an easy way, and RO systems have gotten a lot cheaper to buy.
Yeah, definitely. You can buy them very inexpensive, especially if you're not in a big hurry. If you're only doing 5 gallons, most of them have a tank and they'll hold like 3. And I mean, when you're doing a 20-gallon batch, and you might need 25, 30 gallons of water, or a 15-gallon batch, then it could take a while with one of those little sink top units. So you'd have to plan ahead, but. And when they say filtered water in the grocery store, I don't know if that's RO filtered all the way or just filtered through a smaller particle filter. I have no idea.
Me neither. Yeah. And that's what I've always wondered. I've gotten, because you're the one who told me, Todd, that they're called Penguin Ice in our area. I have no idea if that's a national chain or not, but Penguin Ice advertises as RO water. So it's like, okay, I don't think that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, the machine here in Comanche is RO.
Right. And there's one in San Marcos and it says it's RO, so I trust it. You don't see the word RO on the side of that, Ozarka, which makes me just think, it's just filtered water from wherever they eat. But again, I've used it before, like James was saying, for brewing with great result. I didn't think twice about it. But I've never been accused of overthinking anything really. Underthinking is kind of my thing, but RO, when y'all use RO though, for full transparency, y'all usually don't build a water profile anyway, right? You like the neutral base of the RO and then you just brew from there, or would you recommend still building up a water profile, Todd?
Maybe we probably should, but we don't.
Yeah, exactly.
We've talked about it a lot.
Yeah. We've talked about it a lot.
Yeah, it's just we've brewed so much off of it and have had pretty good results that I'm not interested in doing it. I could be wrong, but Todd, what do you think?
Yeah, I next time I brew, I'm going to do it. I've been saying that for 5 years now, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'll believe it when I see it. He's going to do it when we release the filter video.
Yeah, when you release that filter video, I'm going to do the water profile on my next brew.
Whatever.
Deal.
That's tomorrow.
Yeah, that is tomorrow. Yeah, I'll take it a step further so y'all, to take the pressure off of y'all, that my dad and I have never tested the pH of his well water that we use for brewing. And we've had phenomenal results, right? Every breakfast stout you've ever had was off his well water. So that's how little I think of on the brew day, where I'm just that straightforward, simple. Like,
but I think the well water in y'all's area is I think, Todd, didn't you tell me, Todd, that it's pretty decent water for brewing?
Yeah. It's got,
mine isn't.
It really depends on where you are. It changes so much, even in that area. Like a lot of the water, it comes from the San Marcos River is actually a different aquifer than some of the wells. And that, because there's two aquifers, one on top of each other.
Edwards, and
it depends on which one you're pulling out of. So
I think you know where my pop lives. I'm pretty sure. But you know what? We have pH strips up here at the office, don't we?
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's what I should do. I should go do a pH test and then show people. And when it's embarrassingly high, I'll be like, it still produces.
I bet it's probably in 5.3 range.
I bet you're absolutely
5.3.
When it's like, it's a 9. Oh my God. No, it can't be that high. But we've produced like you're saying, James. I wouldn't overthink it. For us, for wrapping up Ryan's question, if those were the only two options, I think I'm picking RO every day, just because I've heard on the old interwebs that distilled makes a very bland, like it takes out a lot of character that minerals and water, even if it's minute amount of minerals, can provide. And so since there's nothing there, and if you're not going to build up a profile, I'd say I would choose RO. What would y'all say?
Yeah.
I agree.
Good.
Well, I mean, obviously we would, because that's what we do every time.
That's the only thing we use.
Yeah. And I've never even thought to use distilled, mainly because I'm that cheap. Distilled water is more expensive than the Ozarkas or any of the ROs. RO water at those Penguin Ice, I think it's 25 cents a gallon.
That's usually going right, a quarter a gallon.
Yeah, dirt cheap. If I'm going to go pick up, I have 5 gallon carboy things I take over there, and I can get up to 25 gallons. So dirt cheap. But anyways, Ryan, thank you so much for submitting that question. Our third and final question for this week is another voicemail from our buddy Ron from New Jersey.
Hey, I'm Ron from New Jersey. I love the show. I recently brewed up an extract-based mint chocolate chip stout, and it's been conditioning in the keg for 2 months. I tapped it last weekend, and it has a slightly acidic taste or flavor. It's not an infection. It's just something of an acid twang. As I was tasting the beer, I thought of an unusual solution. Can I add mint Tums to the keg to neutralize the acidity and perhaps even complement the mint part of the mint chocolate chip? Any thoughts on dropping a few Tums into a 5-gallon batch? If this is a no-go, do you have any other suggestions to tame the acidity? I think the overall root cause is that I have soft water, and I'll need to adjust hardness in the future. But in any case, thanks. I enjoy the mix of information and entertainment. Josh is a great host, and Keg Connection's my go-to place for kegging supplies. So keep up the good work, and I look forward to future episodes. Thanks, Ron.
Ron knew how to get his voicemail on the air. Ron, you're a smart man, my friend. I am a good host. But his question, talking about his question, James, that is a left field solution. Throwing some
that's outside the box for damn sure. Wow. I guess you could try a little bit in a pint glass to see. Just start with a small amount and just add it accordingly and see if it makes a difference. If it doesn't, then you don't have to worry about ruining a 5-gallon batch of beer. But honestly, never thought of that.
Isn't it calcium carbonate, which is a really common mineral to add when you're brewing beer anyway?
Mm-hmm.
So
it definitely is.
I mean, it is. I think it's calcium carbonate. The only problem with calcium carbonate is it's very hard to dissolve.
Yeah.
You remember last time we did it, and we ended up sucking the first glass. You're like, man, I don't really like this that much,
really,
because all the calcium carbonate was at the very bottom. But I don't remember what they said on how the best. I mean, I know I've gotten it to dissolve, but it's because I like when I force carbonate, it's in there, and I'm going back and forth. But it can.
I don't know if I would do the mint Tums. I would probably just try some, like you said, some calcium carbonate. The root ingredient of Tums is that, and just try a little bit of that. But I'm like you, Todd. I don't remember what they said we were making Topo Chico clone sparkling water, and I put it in the keg and shook it up and force carbonated it, and it just settled right down to the bottom. But eventually it did level out, but it took a while.
I think I had to dissolve it at a higher temperature is what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
The liquid was at a higher temperature, if I remember right. It's been a month. Anyway. Yeah.
He describes it as an acid twang, which that's going to be my alt country album name. Acid twang. What would be the cause of this acid twang? Is it in the grains that would, or the acidity from the hops? Like I've never heard of it. Go ahead.
I mean, his theory is that it's his water. What we were just talking about before, that he's got really acidic water and it's causing the acidic twang.
You're right. Pardon me. I meant, could it be any of those other things? It's soft water cause have y'all had we have really hard water, opposite end of it.
Yeah.
Have you brewed with soft water, Todd, and replicated any kind of acidic twang?
I have never brewed with soft water.
Yeah.
what would the I guess Ron and Ryan's question we can mesh together. Start using RO.
This would be a really good question for Lorena.
Yeah, it would.
She is really into the water profiles, which is we are not. Acidic taste could be a whole lot of things. One thing that I would ask Ron is, how did you get the mint flavor in that, and or the chocolate chip flavor? I mean, it could have something to do with that, possibly along with, could be several things. It's hard to say.
I think, Ron, do it. Get the mint Tums, film it, and I'll give you another gift card for us publishing it. I want to see you drinking some mint Tums, chocolate chip stout. That sounds awful.
Well, it could also cause the beer to taste totally different. So I would stay away from any.
That's actually the serious answer. You're right. I think it undoubtedly will affect the flavor. Like I don't think it'll complement the mint as much as it's going to make it kind of chalky, and maybe some chalky mint in your teeth. But I do like the thinking out of the box. Ron came up with an idea that I feel like I could have come up, and Todd would just have looked at me like, "No, man, no, we're gonna just change your water next time. You're not." Gonna And I just came from the store with some mint Tums or something. No, we're gonna do this, Todd. Any last thoughts on helping out Ron, Todd?
I would get a big hammer and really pulverize those mint Tums if you ended up doing that. You can't just drop them in there for sure.
No, don't do it. No, that's what I was envisioning. Like, he's gonna have his cell phone recording for us. He's gonna drop it like those old.
Well, you'd have to use Alka-Seltzer.
So that's what I said, like those old Alka-Seltzer commercials. That would be. But you're right, though.
I would probably definitely stay away from anything that dissolves on its own. Like in a forceful manner, like Alka-Seltzer.
Oh, no kidding.
Talk about oxidizing a beer. That could possibly be it.
Yeah, but James, back to your idea of trying it in a little pint first is the best way. It's already kegged, so pour a pint.
Just pour a pint and then ground it into a fine powder and throw a little in there, see what happens. Chances are it's just going to all fall to the bottom of the glass.
Right.
Oh, Alka-Seltzer has aspirin in it. I just looked it up. So this could be a hangover-proof beer. Yeah. It's going to have acid, sodium bicarbonate, which is another one that we do when we do our Topo Chico clone. Oh, and it includes citric acid.
Yeah,
so
But you looked up. He's talking about Tums. You looked up.
No. But we started talking about Alka-Seltzer.
Okay.
I like the Alka-Seltzer idea. The plop plop fizz aspirin. Yeah. I'm joking. Don't put Alka-Seltzer.
Put the Tums in the mint chocolate chip stout, and put the Alka-Seltzer in the Diet Coke, right? And that creates the volcano. I forget. I haven't been in science class in a long time. But Ron, we appreciate you. If you end up doing any of the above, please let us know. Follow up. It doesn't have to be a voicemail. Send me an email with pictures. I want to see, or a video. I want to see this.
Didn't we have another question? You said there's 3 questions. Wasn't there another one that you wanted to put on here?
Oh,
you talked about it?
Well, yeah, but it wasn't a formal question. So I can bring it up and we can discuss it and wrap up the show. And I don't have to give this person a $25 gift card, because I frequently am on the interwebs, on the forums. There's a Facebook group for people who own keezers and kegerators. I think it's called Keezers, Kegerators, and Draft Supplies or something like that. And someone had gotten a brand new 5-pound cylinder for their brand new spanking draft system, and they were wondering, they had it outside of I believe they said they had it inside the fridge, and they said, or it might have been outside. Either way, they go,
it was inside.
It was inside the fridge, and they go, oh my gosh, do I have a leak? Because the gauge, the high pressure gauge, is barely in the green, and this thing's full. Why isn't it all the way in the green? Am I leaking somewhere? This is terrible. And Todd got annoyed with me because I go, Todd, what's the best way to answer this? And he goes, I've only described this to you 100 times over the last 14 years. I said, yeah, okay, to do it, just describe it one more time. So he pushed me out of the way and answered the person. And Todd, the answer was that wait, what are you showing?
Oh, I was going to show this gauge.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
For those that are watching on video, that's what it's saying, and it's got red, and it's saying. I'm sorry, I couldn't find a bigger regulator to use for the example, but Yeah, so this one is at 500 psi is where it goes into the red. So
Right. And so the person was concerned, James, and the answer ended up being CO2 is a liquid. And in the cylinder, depending on the temperature it's being stored at, will affect how it's displaying on the high pressure gauge. And if you have it in the fridge consistently and it starts dropping from where it starts at, that's an indicator that you are running out of CO2.
exactly.
Once you get rid of liquid and then all that's left is gas is when you typically see the needle in the red, right, Todd?
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's some other gases, like, say, nitrogen. Nitrogen tanks are filled to different levels depending on what kind of tank it is. But, say it's over 2,000 PSI. So let's say that your tank, you're filling it to 2,400 PSI. Well, a high pressure gauge works great on a nitrogen cylinder because it will literally just go down, just like the gauge on your gas gauge in your car. But just like a propane cylinder, which has liquid propane in it, that's the reason they don't put gauges on propane regulators, is because it doesn't make any difference with
There's no reason
giant bottle like that. Yeah, so it's CO2 is the same way. Once you get down to that point where you're out of the liquid and you only have gas, then your gauge will start going down. But guess what? You're just about out of CO2 when that happens.
Yeah.
So you may not be able to, you could probably drink the rest of that night, but that's it. But the thing I think that's very interesting is, I think this guy's was around 400 something,
450-ish, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that he probably had his in the 38 range, like we were talking about earlier. If you drop it down below that, it could drop to 400. But you could, I've gone out to my garage on a hot summer day, and it was reading 1,300 or
you told me that
really high. And you can get to the point where if you got it in a really hot environment, it will get up to 1,800 psi, and it'll blow out the valve and empty your cylinder, because otherwise it will blow up.
It wants to blow up. Yeah.
Blow you into little pieces as a metal charger shooting through you. So, so there's definitely huge variance in the pressure that gauge will read depending on the temperature of the cylinder's in.
My favorite part of this, James, was I wake up. I was trying to write what he was saying. He goes, just move, and so he types it out for me. So first, it looks like I know the answer, which is great. People think I'm the smart one. But then we wake up this morning, and some person commented, I work at a brewery, and their CO2 is not usually a liquid in the tank, but your they're like, but your part about it, gas, how it expands is right. So you're half right.
Oh no! Did it get completely demolished?
So, thankfully, before I was reading that to Tom, he goes, "Well, that person's an idiot." and then I said, "Don't worry," because a bunch of people started commenting like, "No, actually, you're wrong. Here's why." But it was that was our breakfast talk.
Isn't that every contributor's biggest fear is to put their foot so far in their mouth that they can't pull it out?
Yeah, well, and, if Todd had been wrong, which boss, I'm not saying you could have been wrong. If you had been wrong, I was in a comment. That wasn't even really my comment. My boss put that. He took over. That wasn't me. I'm not an idiot. But no,
I feel sorry for the guy.
Yeah, Todd was like, "Well, that moron. Let me tell you what." But we didn't have to, because other people came to the rescue.
Trolls right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I get a ton of troll comments in my inbox frequently, but 99% of the time they don't bother me. When they bother me is when they make me second guess something I said, and it's something that I was saying with authority. Most of the time I say things outside of authority, and y'all should know that by now. I just say whatever I want. Yeah, throw the Alka-Seltzer in there, whatever. But like, if I say something in actual authority and someone's like, "Josh, you were wrong," I'm like, "Oh my God, that's embarrassing." But
this credibility shot to hell, man.
But I've learned, if you don't start with credibility, you can't lose any credibility. So
that's true.
Life mantra. Anyway, guys, that wraps up the show. I know it is so busy, and I'm gonna try to warm up. I got to go finish those recipes. We got a lot going on up here at headquarters, so I appreciate y'all's time, and I'll catch y'all next week.
Thanks.
See ya.
And that will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, go to homebrewhappyhour.com and use that submit a question link at the top of the page, or be Todd's best friend by leaving us a voicemail at 325-305-6107. Brew better beer with the new Grainfather G40 all-in-one electric system available at grainfather.com. Also get a free pack of Imperial Yeast with premium recipes from us when you join our Trub Club. Go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour to learn more. On behalf of Todd Burns, James Carlson, and the Pearl Media Network, I'm Joshua Stubing. Thank you for listening.